Hi, I'm Steve Memering, and I am the subject of this video, which is a little embarrassing. At any rate, I'm going to be talking an awful lot about me. It's pretty much of a monologue, so brace yourself for that. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about myself and my background, and I'm going to also hopefully focus on my process and how that translates into a variety of different kind of subjects and media. So I always tell my students that my tragedy is that I never decided what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I'm still in that headspace. I just don't know. And every time I focus too long on one area or one subject or one approach, I get bored, and then I try something entirely different. There is a popular view that if you are not evolving as an artist, you tend to get very stale. You know, you're painting basically the same picture over and over again with maybe different colors. And that is not one of my problems. My problem is kind of sticking with something long enough for people to say, oh, he's the guy who paints the such and such. Well, I'm not that guy. A lot of people know my work because I do a lot of, there was a period in my life where I did a lot of Sacramento subjects, and that gained a degree of notoriety, and for good or ill, people know me as a Sacramento painter, which is just one of the many things that I do. I don't consider myself an architectural painter. In fact, I find it's kind of boring to paint buildings all the time, and also to paint them, attempting to paint them realistically can get awfully dry very quickly. And I tend to veer, after I've done a large, like a Capitol Dome painting, or the Tower Bridge, or the Delta King, I want to paint something entirely different and in an entirely different way. So some people know me for this kind of work, which is sort of a semi-abstract, sort of pleasant pond meditation. And I think probably this is closer, at least at this particular point in my life, this is closer to where I am as a man. This is kind of the way I'm seeing the world right now. Now, talk to me next Tuesday. It's going to be totally different. At any rate, my background is people often ask me, how long have you been painting? Or how long did it take you to paint that? And my stock answer is, it took my entire life to paint that. I just didn't come up with this yesterday. I have been painting and drawing as long as I can remember. And that goes back 76 years. It was something I just did automatically. And then, since I was sort of good at it as a child, people gave me lots of attention for it. And then I did it more, and then I got more attention, and then I got more serious about it. And though I am self-taught, I think of myself as basically self-taught, I got information from everyone. And it's kind of distilled it and developed it so it became my own mark. People who know me and like my work and have seen a variety of the things that I've done and the variety of things that I do say, regardless of the subject, Steve, and I love hearing this because it's very flattering to me, regardless of the subject, it always looks like Steve Memering. Regardless, it's something about the way you put down the paint. And I find that very flattering. And I once again, I'm embarrassed. I want to sound terribly grand about it. It is what it is. And at any rate, in terms of formal training, back in the day, I went directly from, at the age of 16, by the way, I went into college, which was way too young for me, and I sort of began to find my way in college, and I transferred to Berkeley and studied art in Berkeley during the 60s, the turbulent 60s, and managed to live to tell the tale. and barely, and I still bear the scars at any rate. From there I went through a very dark period where I said, oh, I think I'll go to New York or go to Carnegie Mellon and become a set designer. And I realized if I had done that and had continued along that line, I would have not have been a happy camper. It was way too competitive, and it's a very difficult way to make a living. Show business. So I gave that up and came back to Sacramento and got a teaching credential, and that I was happy as a teacher and managed to teach and survive middle school for 30 years. And when I say survive, it was an adventure, to put it mildly. But if you can survive that, you can survive anything. And I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I now have, as a retired person, have the time to do pretty much what I want to do. I've always been associated with a variety of galleries throughout my painting career. Sometimes there have been periods where I'm all over California, and then there are periods that I am very, very restricted. Right now I just have 2 galleries that are handling me, and we'll call that free. 3 galleries that are handling me, but I don't feel like I am grappled to any gallery and having to paint specifically for them. The people that sell me are pretty good about letting me do what I want to do. They know me well enough to see that's the best course for Steve, and it's also ideal for a painter at this stage of my life, that I have the freedom to be able to explore what I want to explore. I mean, if you're not having fun with it at this stage, why bother? Just go for the fun, and don't take yourself too seriously, and don't be too influenced at this stage. I'm talking to myself here. Steve, don't be too influenced at this stage by other art or what's going on in contemporary art or community art. Just kind of relax and do what floats your own personal boat, to mix a weird metaphor. What's it all about, or what are the things that I'm interested in artistically? I try to be I've always seen contemporary art as being very flat and very on the surface and very pure color right out of the tube. And I find I admire those people who do it, and when I try to do it, it falls flat because it's a lie for me. I just don't think that way. Something like this, which is much more atmospheric, and it's more of a prompt rather than a end result. It's not. I'm not trying to give you a message here. I'm not writing out a message for you. I'm simply inviting you into my own meditation process, my own imagination. Once again, I say that at the risk of sounding terribly grand. I'm just telling you the truth. That's how I see it. And whenever I try to paint something which is very contemporary and trendy and really cool, and oh man, that's so hot, it doesn't work for me. And so I just am trying to relax and paint honestly and paint from the heart. And that's pretty much it.
And could you say anything about NCA and your involvement?
My association with NCA has been long running, and there was a time where I was actually on the NCA board. I flow in and out of the level of activity with NCA. It's my favorite club, absolutely, and it has the most extraordinary conglomeration of highly talented people. When I have judged several NCA shows and sponsored by NCA, and the level of variety that I see from these brilliant artists, it's humbling. I'm always overwhelmed, at least initially, when I see what I'm supposed to judge and make pronouncements over. It's daunting. But when I settle down and I finally say, okay, well, this is the one that seems to talk to me a little bit more clearly than this one, and it can be very, at the end of the judging period, it can be very subjective. It has to be. I like that one better than the blue one. Give me the red one instead of the blue one. It's that simple at that level. It's difficult when you have a group of artists like you find in NCA, which are so incredibly talented, and they're at such a high level that then any kind of a judgment call is a very selective and very subjective one. When you're dealing with groups of artists that are all on all different levels, it's an entirely different kettle of fish. For NCA, I've been, it's been like a 4 or 5 year tradition. They call me in as a critiquer rather than a demonstrator, which I don't like to do particularly, but I do like to critique. I always have something to say about somebody's art, you know, and they seem to take it very well, and sort of they receive it in the spirit in which it's given, which is I don't know nothing about art, but I know what I like, but hopefully on a little bit higher level than that. I think everyone goes away having had an experience of thinking about, perhaps rethinking their work and reevaluating the work and the work of other club members. It's fun stuff. I'm also going to be a art expert, and I put that in air quotes, for the KBIE auction coming up this fall, and hopefully they will keep me on as a regular, so that's a new game for me, and it keeps me off the streets, what can I say? And that's about it. All I can say is that if you are a member of NCA, you're with some very, very highly talented people, and it's a good group to be in. So if you're not a member, make sure you are. Get to be one quick.
Well, thank you so much, Steve.
Yeah.